Hello my friends, welcome to an exciting YouTube video. Today we'll be talking about something interesting, making your art have 3D depth. To start off, I'll be creating a character, and before I do create a character, I always like to create a mood board. For this, I go to Pinterest and I search for trendy clothes, hairstyles, and kind of appeal that I want my character to look like. It's always good to get reference if you're not yet sure exactly what you want, and even when you're sure, it's always good to get reference to inspire you. I was able to download some pics and I create a mood board. So I'll be working from this mood board. I may be borrowing one or two things here and there, so let's start with the sketch first. Okay, here we have our sketch. From this sketch, I'll be doing the color flats, and in doing the color flats, I will not be using the lines here. What I mean is, I will color it but without a line art. Let's get started. I will be separating certain things in different layers so it's easy along the line. But first, I would like to put the sketch layer into multiply, reduce the opacity, and I change the color of the background. I change it so it's easy to see certain things and it's pleasant a bit. For my local color, I always use a lower saturated color around this region. It's not cool to start from somewhere really bright, then you keep on adding layers of light. It will be too shouting. Best to come somewhere here and select a color suitable. It's a little bit low saturation, but along the line as we work, we add layers of lighter and higher saturation on it. So it's always best to start your local color here, to start your base color at this place. We now have our base color, our flats, and as much as we can, we're going to make this to look more 3D-ish, to have more volume and more depth. Let's get rolling. Another thing I can do here before I start making my shades and lights is to add light paint on some place. Just color it a bit, like places where there's your face is embossed, like this blood flow, and there are places in the cloth like I need to put some red patches on this here, like a bit of light blush. Maybe somewhere here I can add a bit of color, just a bit different from the cloth itself, so everything doesn't look so plain color. It has a way it adds some interesting appeal to your image when you're working. We could do that, then we'll go ahead with our shading. So I like to use a softer brush, and I just choose a bit reddish color. So it's a bit better like this. I can even do more, but let's leave it like this for a while. So the next thing I want to do now is to add an ambient occlusion on this image for all the separate parts. You will say, what's ambient occlusion? Or the best way I could explain it is indirect or ambient light casts shadows, and mostly it happens around places like where you have overlapping edges or 2 points. I usually don't like blacks, so I use something like purplish or close to the black area. Just so you see. So this is what I mean by the ambient: soft shadow from indirect light on overlapping places. It is important to perceive your object in shapes like the way we discussed before, in cones and cylinder. And if it's like that, you may want to, the edges will have a bit of shadow just to signify that this has depth. Soft shadows. So this is more like a cylinder, so now it looks more like a cylinder in a 3D space. As you can see, without even doing so much, our objects, our drawing looks like it's really sitting on the 3D space. There's a form of depth, it's not flat. This is what we have before, and this is what we have now. Another thing I like to do is to add a fill color lightly, just based on the background color that we have, because light bounce to and fro. So if I create a fill and use this background color, you can see how it looks with our ambient occlusion. So I tend to do this in most cases, so the ambient comes out better. If it's not looking, if the form of the object is not looking good, even while it's like this, then you may need to add some shadows and shade in some places. So I'm going to fix some places I feel needs more shadows. What I will do now is to change our fill to multiply and reduce the opacity. Okay, now we do the shadow. I would like to cast lights maybe coming from this area here or a bit up. So maybe the direction of light coming from here. If the light is coming from there, maybe the shadow will be cast to this place. There will be lots of darker shadow here. This book will cast a bit of, it should cast a bit of shadow too. Here will be darker. Things like this will go like this. I'm just estimating how the shadow will fall. To enhance this further, we'll now add our light shade. So the light shining, we have to determine what kind of color, then we blend it into the scene. Let's say it's a kind of sunny color, orangey. There's casting on her. What I like to do is to come to this color place here. For yours, you could check the setting. I always leave it as HSB slides. It may be somewhere RGB or something else for you. You can make it HSB slide. So what I like in this is, and what I do is I adjust it here. I make it darker. You can see the color is changing. It's a bit darker. But what you will notice, this point here, this side gives you the true color when we change the layer blending mode. So you may want it a bit saturated. You can see the yellow here, or you may make it, if you want it closer, it's a bit brighter, but I want it a bit darkish and saturated, so it gives me this color. What I will do once the color is selected is come to the layer I want to work on. I create a new clipping mask. Let me name this one light. I am going to change the overlay to linear dodge. My opacity brush to be, let's say 41. Let's use it this way. Then watch what happens. You could see how it's creating that color saturation to the light that is casting. So because we put it on the linear dodge overlay, it doesn't just gives you this, paint this color. if I make my layer to be normal, you can see we have a brownish color, but once it's on overlay, linear dodge, sorry, it gives you this particular color here. It gives you this particular color here, saturated a bit on the material. Maybe more thinner here. But for the head, I like to give places where it's embossed, like this nose and this point, the shadow, the light. So let me use selection so it's easier. I can always smudge it, so it's easier for you to see actually. Places like this will have more light on a bit of here, because when the light casts, your cheek or those parts that are embossed tend to receive more light, then it goes down, then you have your shadow. So imagine all these places are like sphere. The way you would color a sphere, a ball, it would have that bulgy effect. So I'm using this just to show you how normally I would do it with the brush like this. I just paint it in. So I just wanted you to see parts that will be embossed when there's the light. So let me just smudge it. You can see our character is already looking 3D-ish. The next thing for me to do here now is I like to add the secondary lighting. No matter what, there should be a form of reflection coming from here, and we cast a rim light or yellow, but let's go for, if we're having a more warmer color here, it's always better to balance it up with a cool color coming from the other side. So could be bluish or purplish. If you don't like the color, you can always go to Hue and Saturate, and you saturate it or change the color. We can also do more by adding bounce lights and some extra. Sometimes you can also add rim lights just for the edges where the light is brightest. Also, it's normally good to add this rim light at the extra light in dark shades, but you can also add it in all where the light shines bright too. But most times be careful not to overdo it. So here you have it. You can basically do more things that you would like to do. And these are just the basic way I convert my painting to be looking more 3D-ish. I'll just go ahead and do some enhancement and add extra effect and all. So my friends, this is how we do it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, you could give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe and the notification button so you'll be notified when we bring out more cool videos like this. And until then, stay blessed, my friends.